you doing? How you doing? What it do? What it do? What it do? This is TDT, your host of Boxing Fans Talk TV, and I can be reached at Boxing Fans Talk TV at gmail.com. Also, this is the name of my channel. So um, today we're gonna talk about a couple of things. Some of the things we already talked about, but so first off, I want to say how you doing. Hi to everybody. I gained a couple of subscribers yesterday, so I want to thank you guys for subscribing. And here we go. Let's turn two. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the fight Saturday, just a little bit because I already talked about it the other day, and we already hashed it out for the most part. Most channels did talk about it, the robbery in broad daylight. Fox has come out and said, he couldn't believe it. I'm summing up what he said. I'm not quoting him, but he couldn't really believe, what they did. It's it was a robbery. He feel it's a robbery. A lot of us feel it's a robbery, and so what we want from the WBA is to reverse the decision. Stop acting like it can't be done, because it would be the right decision. Blue Blood said it best. Black Fight Fans said it best. 78 TV said it best. Ego, everybody. Reverse the decision. You can't go wrong because it's the right thing to do. He actually won the fight, so you cannot go wrong in reversing that decision or whatever. So I think that's the proper course of action. I do believe too that that lady is never going to get fired, and but she should never be a judge. Like you can't have power and authority over people that when you have already a hidden bias, even if it's just bias, in her case, is racism. You cannot be trusted to do the right thing when a person of color that you don't like, because of your ignorance, is under your purview to be judged. You cannot be trusted. And I hope everything. This is what I say. All of us need to get together and say a prayer tomorrow morning that that lady gets back everything she puts out triple fold. Let's do that. Let's see if enough of us pray at the same time. Will it work? I happen to believe that it would. I hope and pray that she gets back everything that she puts out, everything she says, everything she does, how she feel. I hope that she gets the royal treatment of what she hopes, um, for other people and what she actually does to other people. Because that fight, what I look at? I look at the fact that the guy Fox, he put in the work. He put in a lot of work to prepare for that fight, or like you said, he's always ready. He um he was brought in on short notice. Just to recap a little bit, when Maestro, his opponent, walked to the ring, he came out there with gloves that wasn't signed, so it wasn't certified. I think they signed it to certify that you did the right thing when you wrapped your gloves, and it was proven that he didn't. So, as everyone else has said, the fight was fixed from the jump. But Fox had another, agenda than what the powers that be did. I will also say too, a lot of times fighters don't know the backgrounds of these judges and these referees. They don't know the background of certain locations, what can happen when you go to certain locations. So what I think is, maybe a list should be started of like kind of like a warning list of of where not to go. So to all the future fighters, especially men of color or black men, don't go to Minneapolis and fight. Not at the Armory. Don't do it. I wouldn't, because you're gonna get robbed if you're not under their umbrella. You're probably gonna get robbed. So I wouldn't go there at all. So I don't know what they're gonna do with this lady. But I don't think that he should have to run it back um, because he never lost. He didn't lose. The other guy lost, but they gave it to him. And no, the decision is not to run it back. That is not going to satisfy the fans or him. And you're affecting how this man can go forward and make the money that he can make, or the man, you're affecting his reputation. And his reputation in boxing is everything because it's going to dictate how much money you can ask for, what fights you can demand. It gives you leverage the more wins you stack up. So she kind of threw a monkey wrench in his hard work, and she should be held accountable for that. So I'm gonna be watching to see what happens with that, and hopefully they do the right thing. I don't know if they will. More than likely, I don't mean to be pessimistic, but more than likely they won't. So I'm still gonna watch it. Mikhail Fox, you're a champ in our eyes. Like I said, you was gracious, even with that decision, more gracious than I probably could have been, or most of us could be. But don't let it deter you. You're a good fighter. You put in work, keep putting in that work, and keep going for your dream. Don't worry about it. I know it's easier said than done, but there's nothing you can do when you're faced against people like that and you don't know. When you know, you'll do better, right? So if you knew that the fix was in, you wouldn't have went. I'm sure you was probably the last person to know this, and a lot of this stuff we're finding out after the fact. So a lot of good it does after the fact, y'all. But I mean, you hope that fights be on the up and up. And just watching that fight, he beat the guy the whole time. So I don't know how it could not be ruled in his favor. It was just blatant. And like somebody had mentioned too, we talking about that one judge. Let's talk about all of them because it was a unanimous decision. And there's no way, I don't care what side of the ring you were sitting on, there's no way you could say that. What a straight face. He ain't say it to me with a straight face. But what do I know? I'm just a fan, you know. So, anywho, we're gonna be watching what happens with this guy's career. I'm gonna support this guy. I'm gonna talk about this guy. I'm gonna follow this guy. Talking about Michael Fox, that is, and hopefully everything goes well with his career. But my caption on my video was talking about Rolando Romero, aka Rahlo, aka Alado. Alado was talking a lot of smack about Devin Haney. And as Devin Haney famously quotes, they say everything but let's fight. I repeat, they say everything but let's fight. So Rolando or Alado, I'm just gonna call him Alado. Alado is looking real stupid right now because he want to call Devin out his name. Devin ain't bothering you. You don't like Devin for whatever reason. I've seen more negative videos that you did about Devin Haney than you done about anybody else. And I don't know why he's in your head if you don't want to fight. Now Devin pulled your whole card. So let me just say that because maybe you don't understand basic regular English or whatever, but you was talking shit. Devin pulled your whole card. He went to Floyd and asked Floyd, is it okay for you and him to fight? And Floyd said yes. So any excuses made why this fight can't go down is all on your shoulders. Alado. Alado, it's all on your shoulders. You're the one who's, ran your mouth, said what you said, was being disrespectful. And then you're the one who's actually ducking. You don't want to fight. I mean, if somebody's a bitch to you, then you should want to fight. The only two bitches that I see is you and Ryan Garcia. I'm sorry. Gotta say it. Because you guys run your mouth, you talking negatively about people who are not talking negatively about you just to boost your own popularity or, to make, just for your benefit, in other words. And then when it come time to sign on the dotted line, we hear, should be like crickets, right? That's all we hear. We don't see you. You stop talking, you go back into hiding or whatever, you get off the social media. But when you wanted to big up your name or make yourself look tough and all that, you got a lot to say. But when he pulled your whole card, a lotto, because that's what Devin did, he pulled your whole card. It was awkwardness. You are nowhere to be found. So why is that? Like I'm really asking the question, why is that? I hope you do a video where you answer that question. Why did you talk about the man negatively? But then when he said, "Okay, let's fight," you don't want to. You know, we need to know that. As fans, we need to know that because you was talking about him like he was nothing. In fact, you said he's irrelevant. You don't have a regular championship belt, but he does. So who is irrelevant? So I see a couple of people have come in. PG HB, what is it? PG Big Dog. Salute Boxing Fan TV. Thank you. Kemp Wells, keep up the good work. Go girl. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying. But yeah, Rolly, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like you called him out. You basically says he's a bitch. And then he makes a move like, okay, there's only one way to settle it, and we could just go in the ring. Cause you could settle it in the street, but what good does that do you? So just go into the ring. Floyd gave the okay. So now who you gonna hide behind? Are you hiding behind your dad? Or you in deep down inside, you scared of him. You know you can't do nothing with him. So what was all the talk for? Get back on your social media. Explain to us what was all the talk. He made it simple. Devin put it on easy. Put it on easy. That's what he got to do. Put it on easy. Let's fight. How easy can you get? Devin's his own boss. Floyd gave the okay. What's the problem? It can't be no problem. The problem is you was a bitch the whole time, and you just again you trying to build yourself up off of somebody else's name instead of just getting in the ring and fighting them. And Rody, you do hit hard, and I did about a week ago or so. I was like, okay, I see Rody improving because when you fought that guy named Jackson, you lost. He whooped your ass. You lost. You hit him hard. You hurt him. It wasn't a terrible loss like Maestro to Fox. Fox whipped his ass the whole 12 rounds. But you lost. That dude outboxed you, proving that boxing was better than what you talking about. You think because you got power that that's the nullifier, but it's not. And I probably just made up a word called nullifier. So I don't think that's a real word, but in my lingo, it is. It made the cut. But you couldn't nullify that guy. He dug in deep and he outboxed you. And they gave you the fight. Why is that, Rolly? You never really talked much about it. You gave an interview after the fight, but you haven't really talked much about it. I think you might have said something to somebody on social media once, but you try to like walk away and forget it as if we're going to forget it. But it was nothing nobody can do as a fan. We can't really do nothing. And it kind of looked like I gave you the benefit of that because it kind of looked like you might not even knew. the fix was in, but it was in for your favor, and so we kind of let you slide with that, even though that was messed up to do to that other fighter who put in the work and beat you. And then I seen you in a couple of fights here lately, and you actually got better. I seen you setting traps. I seen you walking the dude down. I seen you boxing, and using your power. And I was like, wow, he's getting better. That's a whole big improvement from what I seen before. But a lot of your improvement ain't on the level as Devin Haney. You really can't even match that. I don't know how much improvement you need to even be in there with Devin Haney. He will wash you. He will destroy you. And the way you talk about somebody who's not talking negatively about you, I don't get it. I don't get that from any of you fighters. If somebody's not talking negatively about you, you guys are all in the fight game. You guys should be all on one accord to try to make boxing good for all of you. Because if it's good for some of you, then that's just not good enough. If it's hurting a group of you, then it's liable to hurt any of you. So you guys need to all be on one accord in the boxing game as far as how they treat you guys, and fairness is key. Fairness is one of the key staples that you guys as fighters would really want. You want somebody to treat you fair. You don't want them to rob you because it's a slap in the face. It really is a slap in the face. And that's what pretty much what they did to that guy you fought. And that's what happened to Fox on Saturday night. So while you sitting up here, Lotto, talking shit, just think before you open your mouth. Are you really scared of this person? Because you scared of Devin. Oh, Devin got you spooked. And he ain't said nothing negative. He don't even have to say nothing. You claim you got the best of him in your sparring. I seen some of that. No, I wouldn't say that. But like I said, you and Ryan Garcia, y'all the same. Maybe y'all two should fight, because y'all act the same. Both of y'all, as you say, bitches. Both of y'all are bitches. Because you can't rely on your own laurels as a man, a lotto, um, and go by what you actually do. You have to make your bones off of another man's name. That doesn't even make sense to me. So you should stop with it, you know. But I'm gonna be watching that, and we're gonna watch to see what's the ending. Are you gonna get in the fight? Are you not gonna sign the contract? Alado, come back and make a social media post. Tell us what you're gonna do. We already know what Big Daddy Haney gonna do and Devin gonna do. We don't know what Alado gonna do. So Alado, come out wherever you are. Say what you're gonna do. Um, I'm gonna move on to like some other news because I don't think Alado is gonna try to fight Haney. Alado be tripping. But anywho, Hearn is trying to make a fight with Dillian White and Chris Arreola. Now we know that Chris Arreola lost his last fight with what's his name, Andy Ruiz, and Chris Arreola sustained an injury to his shoulder in that fight, which he feels like it didn't make him as effective. Chris Arreola didn't make no excuses, but that's what they pretty much saying. He didn't feel as effective. Now Dillian White, that's about the best he can get. Nobody wants to fight him. His last fight, he fought a 41-year-old in Alexander Povetkin. And Dillian White is just boring. He's another one who acted a donkey because he was trying to get his rise up on Deontay's name. Tell me some Wilder, where are you, Wilder? Looking like a fool, dude. Looking like a complete fool. I don't even know why they even try to make fights for him because who the hell want to see it? He's boring. He's absolutely boring. Um, Chris Ariola, because I respect him. I actually met this man. He's a nice man. He's a nice guy. He's very appreciative of his fans. He actually like I ran into him when I was at the Pacquiao Floyd fight, and I was like, hey, how you doing? Can I get a picture? And he said, you want to take a picture with me? And I was like, yeah. He was hanging with his buddies, and he was like, sure. And he was like, I'm just so happy that I'm getting recognized by a bunch of fans. He was very appreciative, very humble guy. And so I watch him, and if I would pay a pay-per-view fight, if you was fighting, but he's one that Chris would get in there with anybody. Chris Ariola, he would get in there with anybody, even if you might even think that he knows he's gonna lose. I think he would get in the fight with anybody. And shout out to him. So if he fights Dillian White, I'll watch it because of Chris, not because of White. And yes, we have to take into consideration that he's coming off a shoulder injury, and I don't know what would happen. Like for real, I kind of when I was watching that fight with him and Ruiz, there was a point where I thought maybe Chris could have beat him. I was thinking that, but that didn't come out like that. So, and it probably was his shoulder injury. I didn't know anything about the shoulder injury. Maybe they talked about it after the fight, but I don't think and if we already know Dillian White has cheated before, so I can't put no stock in nobody who cheats. Once a cheater, to me, always a cheater. So I can't really put no stock in it, you know. But oh, I gotta go back to the Fox and what's the guy named Maestro fight. So I was reading some news articles today, and they was reporting it like, oh, Gabriel Maestri edged them out just a little bit. And I was like, it's Monday morning. You had a chance to hear the feedback from the fans all weekend. You heard what the people in the corner were saying through the training tracks or whatever. Like, after or when they was trying to wrap his glove, because he came into the ring trying to cheat, and you could tell that they was hesitant. They didn't want to relinquish that leverage that they thought they had over Fox. You can also hear Joe Guzman and Lennox Lewis talking about how they feel Fox won the fight. But then you get an article that comes out today that says Gabriel Maestri edged out the fight. Now I don't know why would you write that out. Do you even look? Is it required to watch the fight before you even write an article about it? Because there's no way that you could be watching the fight. Now this person that wrote this article, they wasn't a judge, they wasn't a ref, they wasn't in the corner, they was a journalist who wrote an article saying that he edged them out. And that means you saw the fight just like we saw the fight. And no way in hell you can see the fight and then write that shit. He didn't edge them out. He barely even touched. So you kind of fucked up on that one. But you know who you are if you're out there and you like writing articles where you know clearly they're not true. So you need to, I don't know, get straight with that. But I didn't expect to see the article. That's the only reason I'm talking about it. I didn't expect to see anything today but people basically saying humana humana humana. that's that's all I expected to see. Like what spin they gonna put on this fight or why it happened the way it happened. I did not expect to see somebody write something saying that Gabriel Maestri edged them out. That was a complete shock to me. Other news. So we see that Amir Khan is training with Bomac. And I was like, why? Why be bouncing around, switching trainers, and all that. It's not the trainer all the time fault. Not it's not the trainer's fault all the time. I said that backwards. But it's not the trainer's fight. I mean, it's not the trainer's fault when fighters don't execute the plan. Amir Khan, when you fought Terrence Crawford, I don't think you was executing the plan. Or maybe you felt his power and you just forgot the plan. You definitely was no competition for Terrence Crawford. Canelo beat you, but he was supposed to beat you. He's a big guy. He was supposed to beat you, and you don't have a chin. And yes, you're fast. You're faster than some people, but you're not as fast as you used to be. So I'm going to be interested to see if you actually get better from training with Bomac and them. But Terrence and Bomac, I don't know if I would have let him in my camp because we fought before. Because one thing, I don't know, like if you get in there and he see how Bud work and he peep game and all that stuff, is he later gonna come back and be like, I want a rematch, Bud? But they supposed to be helping him for an upcoming fight between him and Kell Brook. I do not know if the fight is definite. I don't know that yet, but I hear the talks about it. Like Amir Khan and Brook are gonna fight. Now, if Kell Brook get in there and whoop your ass, then what you gonna say, Amir? But then again, Amir Khan, I ain't mad at you because you got paid like $7 million to fight. Was it Terrence? Bob Arum paid you $7 million. That's a lot. That's a lot. And you probably got that or more to fight Canelo. So you at the tail end of your career, your abilities have diminished. You know it and I know it, but you made enough noise in the beginning of your career. So I give you that so that you can be a notable name for somebody to put on their resume. And so now you just in for the money. You like a money grab. So if you go in and fight Kell Brook and you beat him, what statement are you looking to make? Errol Spence beat him. Terrence Crawford beat him. I mean, what is you beating them gonna do or change? I don't think much. So you need to. I don't know. I guess you're gonna go for it if it pay enough money, and that's what you need here at the end of your career. Then so be it. But I personally, Terrence and Bo Mac, I wouldn't let them in my camp because I'm telling you, I can see down the line him asking for a rematch. But a lot of people do that because they think, oh yeah, I figured him out. I know what the problem is and this, that, and the other. So I figured him out. But you really can't figure somebody out unless you was with them from day one, and you wasn't. So maybe that's what Bud and them realize or know that we're not worried about him peeping our game because unless he was with us day one, he's not going to be able to play catch up. But I'm very interested in seeing how this enhances him or improves him by just being with Bomac. And if he do come out swinging and kicking people ass left and right, I mean, you gotta beat somebody more than you gotta beat more people than just Kell Brook. Kell Brook would be a nice win, but you have to fight more people of note before we can say, because you're a welterweight, right? So we got other welterweights. Jerron Ennis. I would like people to start putting some respect on him and trying to fight him. So, you know, maybe that's in the cards. But Amir Khan, you're gonna have to fight more people than just Kell Brook for us to see. Like, damn, it made a difference in the training with Bomac. So I don't know. To each his own. It's a money grab for you and everything. So I'm gonna move right along to uh, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So this I keep hearing about things ramping up and getting worse with this new strain of COVID and everything. I think it's in bad taste that fighters have chosen to use COVID as a reason to get out of things, and because it's not nothing to play with. A lot of people lost their lives. You know, a lot of families are hurting because they don't have their loved ones with them because this virus snuck up on everybody. You know, and it didn't help that the administration who was in the office at the time didn't have a clue as to what to do. You know, and won't even really trying to do anything. So now we here. We got fighters using COVID as a way of getting out of things. So my question is, what happens if the countries do shut down and Tyson Fury can't get back to the states because it's kind of shut down? What happens then as far as the court decision? I don't know if anybody know that. I would like to know it. I would like to know what happens because this is why I say they need to stick to the same uh, court decision or the first court decision, which was you fight by September 15th or you retire. So I don't know. I'm interested in knowing what happens in that situation. That's why I don't want Deontay to take that. Well, I don't know about like take that fight, but I don't want him to give it credence because he's gonna back out the fight again. And if he do Deontay have a leg to stand on? You know, that's the question that I have. Do he have a leg to stand on if Fury backs out again, being that he went outside of what the judge said? You know, I don't know, and I don't want to see that happen. But it's like I feel like it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable that things gonna get worse. Now I'm supposed to be in Vegas that week, the week that they moved the fight to. They moved it to October 9th, and I'm actually gonna be in Vegas to the 10th. So I don't know what's gonna happen. But do I feel like that fight is actually going down? I actually don't feel like it's going down. So uh, I guess we'll have more answers by September 15th because I can't wait to get to that point. But you know, he's over there in England. Now, for real, I thought that he moved his family over here to Vegas. And I know his wife just had a kid, and I know that you cannot fly when you get to a certain month in pregnancy. I want to say 7 months. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like 7 months pregnant. You can't get on any flights. They don't even allow you to fly. So if his wife was good and pregnant, you know, how did she leave? And plus, you can't fly with a brand new baby. That's another thing too. You can't. I don't know if people know this. Your baby has to be, I think, get to their first checkup before you can do extracurricular things with the baby, as far as like getting on a plane or stuff. You cannot get on any public mode of transportation like that, like a plane or I'm not talking about a city bus, but a plane and a boat, something where a lot of people can get on. You can't do that when you 7 months pregnant. Also, after you have your kid, you have to wait till at least 6 weeks. So then that's an easy question. Did Tyson Fury leave before she had the kid or after she had the kid? That's the question. You know, did he go over there? Did she have her baby in England? You can look that up too. It's a matter of public records, vital statistics, all that shit is a matter of public record. Was there a Fury born in the States? You can look that up. If you know her name, um, because it will be a public record. And so this how you can cut through some of his bullshit because he act like he was going over there to be there for the birth of his kid. But if it was that important, you probably wouldn't have made the fight for July if you knew your kid was coming around that time. Number two, I thought that his wife and family actually lived in the States. So if she was due any day now, how in the hell are they in England? There's no way they could be in England because they have to wait. I'm telling you what I know, y'all. I'm telling you what I know. When I had my daughter, I was coming from Germany. Well, if you're on like a medical flight, you can those rules don't apply. But I had my daughter early, so when after she got out the hospital, which we were there 2 months, they flew us back to my original duty station, which was in Spain. And when I got on the plane, the ladies was like you're not getting on here, and I always had to show proof that she's actually 2 months old, but she looks like a brand new baby because she was so preemie. When I got back to Spain, I actually took leave to bring my baby home, and my baby weighed about 4 pounds. At that point, she was like 3 months old. And when before I got on the plane, the stewardess stopped me at the door and was like, "You're not getting on." She let other people go before me. She was like, "You're not getting on." And I was like, "Why?" She said, "You can't get on the plane with a brand new baby. You have to wait till at least their 6 week checkup." And that's where I learned that from. This was a military MAC flight. So if they doing it on a MAC flight, they doing it on regular flights too. So I was like, "No, my baby is 3 months old." And I had to prove it to her. Facts. So that's why I know if he had his child here, they are not in England. They can't be. And if she was in England, she was not here in June. She wasn't here in May because you can't fly after a certain amount of being pregnant. So it's just lies after lies after lies after lies. And this is why I think this is all a joke. And I think Wilder needed to just stick with what the original court said and hold the court ruling to effect. Like either fight him or retire. I think Tyson Fury need to retire or sue him for all his purses when he do fight. That's what you should do. So I don't know. I don't know what Deontay is going to do, but I hope that's what he's going to do. As far as the Pacquiao uh, Earl Spence fight coming up, now I will be buying that. So it's getting to the point with boxing that I'm only buying certain fighters. I'll support Terrence, of course. That's my favorite fighter. Um, I will support Errol Spence, of course. I will support Tank Davis. Um, and of course Deontay Wilder. That goes without saying. Um, I can't think of many other fighters that I will support. Now I would, and then there's the fighters that if it's free, I'll look at. I try to look at all boxing because I'm just a boxing fan, but it's getting hard because what happened Saturday, I can't never do. I can't. I didn't even. You know what's funny? I never even watched the fight after that, the main event. I couldn't. I didn't want to. And then I heard on the news that they call it a no contest. And so now I'm interested to go back to watch to see why they called it a no contest. Because what happened? That I don't know. So after I get off this live, I'm actually gonna go and watch to see what happened in the fight. And I don't think a fighter want that on their record either. I think Jerron Ennis had that when he fought Herden because they bumped their head together, and so it was in the first and second round. So it was ruled a no contest. That nobody wants that on their record either. So you hoping that the people are it's almost like you got to make it to the fourth round. And sometimes when I think about the fight, Tyson Fury fight against Wilder, the third fight, I think about what is Wilder gonna do? Is he gonna hold him, until the fourth round and then just unleash? Because the dude is looking for a way to get out the fight. And if they get disqualified, do Tyson? I mean, do Wilder get the win if the judge disqualify him in the first or second or third round? Like, do he get the win anyway? Because the magic number is the fourth round, and you got to expect anything from Tyson Fury. You don't know what can happen. So I'm interested in knowing how that fight will play out, even though I don't think the fight is gonna happen anyway. But I was talking about Errol Spence and Pacquiao. So Pacquiao is one of those fighters. He used his legs. He used his legs effectively. Um, and if you're a good boxer, that's what you do. But I will tell you this: the style in which Pacquiao fight, I would never train a boxer to fight that way. That is, very much uniquely fitted for him, or that's just his unique style. It's not a style that you would teach somebody because there's a lot of things wrong with it. But for Pacquiao, it suits him. I don't think that Pacquiao don't know fundamentals, but I think he just has his flavor and he likes to put his stank on it. What I think about Earl now, everybody want to say that maybe Earl is not the same since his accident. I think that he's better. I think that it changed him. I think it made him more focused, and I think that he's better. But I still will say this: that was a serious accident, and years will pass where it would show how serious it is. It would take years to pass. He's not gonna see it now because what's saving him or what got him through it is his youth. But once he gets a little age on him, that accident is gonna prove to have been more detrimental than he thought. Do that mean that people should age him out? No. While he's fighting, he's probably gonna always be a beast. It's when he stopped fighting is when you're gonna see the effects. Like when he get older, he's gonna have issues, but he doesn't have them now. But he's gonna have issues. What up, Drew Titan? Salute. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for supporting. So I think that in years to come, uh, Earl Spence is gonna see how serious that accident was. But hey, while he's young, while he's still active, that's the best thing he could do is to stay active to minimize the effect. But I know a thing or two about injuries. They don't really manifest themselves in your body when you're young. They really don't. So they manifest themselves in your body in a negative way as you get older. And but he's doing the right thing by staying active, like I said, and being the dog and taking the fights and all that. But even fighting Danny Garcia, he's gonna pay for that too. But I think he's gonna wash Pacquiao. I think if Pacquiao is able to get a lot of angles on him, then he's gonna have problems. And I think if he underestimate Pacquiao's power, he's gonna have problems. But I'm hoping that Earl doesn't do that. And I'm hoping it's kind of like when Lomachenko was trying to get angles on what's his name, Telefimo. Uh, Lomachenko was trying to do those angles, but Tio wouldn't let him. And Tio his stance. So like when Lomo would go to the left or the right, Tio could just pivot his foot like where he moved that front foot. And he could just move side to side. And Lomachenko couldn't get that leverage or that, you know, get the upper hand over him because Tio could move with him. And I think that's what Spence is gonna have to do. And I really believe he can do it. And somebody getting shocked. Because Pacquiao gonna try them angles and Spence gonna be right there for him because that's what Floyd did. Floyd was able to pivot and hit him while he tried to come in. The question is about Spence having to move so rapidly and so much. Is the punch gonna hurt Pacquiao when he coin is with Pacquiao's movement and all that? Can Spence handle it? Can he keep up? That's what we're gonna see. I think Spence gonna kill this dude. But it's going to be very interesting to see which one of them can nullify each other's attributes. Which who can do that? I don't know which one. So I'm Lord, I can't wait. Um, but I got my money on Earl, even though I don't even bet. I do not bet because you know what? As a female, sorry for coughing, but people cutting their grass. As a female, this is my experience. I'm not saying every female table, and they don't get peer pressure or nobody says nothing, and I be like, what? He said I got Spence, but no drug testing has me thinking the worst. Oh my God, Drew, they not drug testing? I thought they were. Oh my God, now I'm gonna have to rethink everything. If they not drug testing, that's advantage Pacquiao. Unless Spence been doing that all along. I don't know what you think, y'all. You think Spence been, sipping on that Kool-Aid throughout his career here and there? Because ain't no in hell I would want to face Manny Pacquiao without no drugs. He said, no, I heard the same, but they aren't from other sources. I don't know, you know. It's gonna be like, in this fight, it's gonna be who can nullify the other's attributes. That's what it's gonna be. We probably gonna see that within the first round or second round. Who can nullify the other's attributes? And when you start seeing it go one way, you already know who won the fight. And but again, you can't really count neither one of them out really because they both dogs in there. But if Spence cannot keep up speed wise with all the movement that Pacquiao is doing, you know, he might have a hard time. If Pacquiao find that Spence can keep up with him when he trying to move all them angles, Pacquiao's gonna back down because we see him do it all the time. I've seen him do it all the time. Even though he wins most of his fights, but to the people who's able to neutralize him, he backs down every time. That's why he wasn't running in there with Floyd, walking around his regular walking weight. Earl draining himself to make the weight, and probably his last fight at this weight. Yeah, yeah. Earl did look awfully thin in some of them videos that they were showing. He didn't even look like himself. But since his accident, he hasn't looked like himself to me. But Earl might need to go up. He might need to go up. What you think? Like, if this is his last fight and he goes up, who's gonna be the king of the welterweights? Is it Crawford or is it Jerron Ennis? Yeah, he was a little skinny, bro. Like, I didn't even like the look. It just didn't look right because his cheeks were sunk in and his frame looked little. I don't think you should. I don't think you should fight in a weight class when your frame start to look little. To me. That's when it's not good. Um, do you think he can hydrate like a good size amount back up? Ortiz, you talking about Victor Ortiz, Drew? Mm-hmm. Ortiz. I didn't even know he was still out there trying to fight people. But Bud claimed he wants to go up too to 154. Oh, okay. Kid from RGB. Bud claims he wants to go up to 154. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, I just can't wait. I just can't wait. And do y'all know that Paradigm, they try to throw a monkey wrench? I know other people have reported on it, but it's like, what is up with these black fighters getting handled? I'm about six. Earl say he is in the best shape, like 700 push-ups with Blu-ray. Check out, barbershop. Yeah, I think so. If Bud was smart, he'll move up first. I think so too. But what did he come to the 147 division for anyway? He barely fought enough people. And you guys know I'm a Bud fan. That is my favorite fighter outside of Deontay Wilder. There's only two fighters for me. So I that's why I was saying that I don't think Tank should even come into the 147 pound just to fight Keith Thurman. Why would you do that? And then what does that say about you? Like if you're not coming into the weight class to be a champion or unified or undisputed, why the hell are you coming? And Kim Wells, thank you for joining in. Well, Blu-ray also. I've seen a couple of interviews with him, Kim Kemp Wells, on Black Fight Fan, and he says that he thinks Earl could do more, but he has to take in consideration the other training that he got going on, so he couldn't really get Earl to a level that he wanted him to. He said, but Earl was back at the level that they left off at. I remember seeing that interview. So I think 700 push-ups was like at a minimum. I'm like, well, hell, if that's the minimum, damn. They probably think Thurman is at a vulnerable position. You know what? I'm a Thurman fan too. Like, I don't know what y'all think. Life happens, right? Life happens. I'm not trying to cake for Thurman because I mean he was one of my favorites at one point. He should come and you know just sit down with somebody, one of these channels, and explain in layman's term why all the layoff, why the long layoff. But I don't know if he'll do it because it doesn't make sense. But Thurman only lost to Pacquiao. That's his only loss. And if y'all listen to what Pacquiao had to say about it, Pacquiao was like that was one of his hardest fighters. He said he didn't want to do that no more. So I don't know. Thurman, you know, I just don't, I can't count him out all the way yet because he just, like I said, he only had that one loss, and he fought a good fight with Pacquiao. He did. I thought Broner did a good job with Pacquiao. Yeah, yeah. I think he was trying to get it back. Do y'all think, and no disrespect to his wife, but do y'all think she's just not into boxing and that's not her thing? So, because if you're gonna be married, your partner has to be supportive in everything that you do. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be a cop, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor. When you're married to somebody, they have to be supportive in what you're doing to help you because y'all a team, right? Do y'all think that she just that's the problem? Like he married somebody that really don't like boxing and ain't really pressed for it. He took he took it out of him. But he's about to become a father too, so there's a lot of new stuff that's going on in his life. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of new stuff. Uh, I chop it up to life happens, and I'm waiting for the novelty to wear off of him being married and having a kid. So I'm waiting for that novelty to wear off. And I don't know how soon that will be. Cause soon just being married and being a new father is not gonna be enough. If your passion was to be a warrior, you're gonna come back to that. Didn't he pass away a long time ago though, Drew? His coach? I thought that was years ago. Or is when he passed away, is that when y'all could see the decline in Thurman? I don't know. But it did seem like, now me personally, I understand when Thurman he probably needed a publicist because I understand what he was trying to say about why he didn't take the fights with Earl Spence. But one thing I don't like is I don't like when people make a big to do about anything and turn right around and start doing the same thing. Because everything a lot of these fighters complain about, they turn right around and start doing the same thing. Now Thurman wasn't giving Spence a shot, but Spence was relatively new, and the top tier fighters were not Spence. So I think when you have an agenda or a plan as a fighter, don't you have to stick to that plan? You can't be bouncing all around. You can't be like, okay, my plan is to fight this person, I'm gonna get a belt, that person, I'm gonna get a belt, and then after I get all the belts, then I can fight everybody. That could be your plan. But the way Spence felt that Thurman should have responded to him was, hey, I'm calling you out. Stop what you're doing right now and focus on me. Kent Wells, you said he only has one loss, and that was to the great Pacquiao. That's what I say. Nobody else is beating him. He fought everybody as well. He fought everybody as well. That's why, like when people say Spence is better than Bud, I got Bud as a better pound for pound than Spence only because of their record. I don't go by how I think or how I feel. I tell you the truth that Bud is, one of my favorite fighters. However, I don't want to have to think or feel when I'm talking about selecting people for like pound for pound or, giving people props. I just want to go by the record. In the end of the day, I'm just a boxing fan. So, um, getting back to Keith, I don't think he did Earl wrong. I think he had an agenda and he was trying to maneuver and this, that, and the other. And people situations can change from fight to fight. He might have intended on fighting the top two people, which was at the time Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. They were the top tier. He couldn't stop and deviate from that path and go fight somebody else, like Spence, and then come back to that path, like that pathway is gonna still be there for him. So I think he kind of explained that. I think he was being interviewed by Fight Hype. He kind of explained that, but he need to come on one of y'all channels. I would love to interview him, but he need to come on a channel and just sit down without the high raised voice and just tell his piece. But the only qualms that I have with Spence in return is Spence took it real, real personal, and he's like, I don't fool with him. I ain't got nothing to do with him. But then again, I don't know the lies because everybody said Keith is a liar. He may be. I don't know. The in between, the behind the scenes of what fighters who know each other, what they know about each other. So I don't know, but that's how Errol feel. He's not even gonna give him the time of day or anything. Instead of just saying, hey, at the time I was coming up, I was coming up. I was trying to come up, and he was at the top. So if he was at the top, let him navigate the waters how he want to navigate them. And then after he clean up what he want to clean up, he can come back to me. I'll still be here. But isn't Spence doing that to Jerron Ennis? Because Jerron Ennis called out everybody. Nobody's answering. He rang the doorbell like several times. Ain't nobody answering. Do y'all? And I think Jerron Ennis and Earl Spence somewhat similar. I wouldn't even know who to pick on that fight. Maybe experience will win out, but I think they fight similar. And in relation to their size and all that. What y'all think? Oh yeah. I would love, love, love to see Jerron get some action at top tier fighters, but I think they know better. And when Drew, when you and Kemp, when you guys were talking about how Spence looks smaller, to me Spence should be looking like Jerron Ennis because looking really small. I really don't know what that's all about. I really don't, and I hope it's not something that's gonna hurt him in the long run. Only Bud would be a more even fight. Yeah, yeah. The way Spence look now, I think Bud will hurt him, but I'm not there. He could be in the perfect health. He could be in the perfect health. Obviously, he doing something. He's losing weight. I ain't gonna say he losing muscle, but he don't have that thickness that I like to see him in. He doesn't have that thickness in his stature. I don't know. But I mean, I didn't have a lot to say because I did the show yesterday. Actually, I couldn't hold it anymore. I was talking about Alado and Haney. I had to get up on that because the two bitches in boxing right now is Alado and Ryan Garcia. They like to boast themselves up off of other people's name, but when you get called out and your whole car get pulled, Alado is nowhere to be found. So I did just want to talk about that. And it wasn't much more to report about the Gabriel Maestri. Like I said, the next time if I pay to see him fight or tune in to him, I want to tune in to somebody whooping his ass. That's all I want to see because he's in on it too. And the reason why I say he's in on it because he walked to that ring without signatures on his gloves. He knew what the hell they was doing. He was an amateur for a long time. I don't know why his old ass didn't try to get into boxing when he was young. I mean, he must have been what, like 25, 26 in 2012 in the London Olympics. And then, if that's not good enough, you're gonna go to the Rio Olympics in 2016. Now you're in your 30s and you trying to play catch up. That's not a fuck up on your part. Doesn't generate an emergency on ours. He's trying to play catch up, and whoever's bankrolling him trying to play catch up. But like a lot of y'all said, who they serving them to? Because if you is that robbery doesn't help him, because all it's gonna do is when he do have to fight somebody of note, they gonna damn murder him. Yeah, I do agree, Kent Wells. That will be a good money fight. Thank you, Drew, for saying facts, because that's what it is. But I want to thank Kemp Wells and Drew Tidy for chiming in. I have a few people in here, but uh, it's going to grow. I want to thank you guys for the support. And like I said, this is something I do all day, every day. I know my family is tired. They're probably glad I'm on here, and maybe could talk to other people because they like, I don't want to hear that shit, and I love it. So thank you guys for supporting me, and I'll be going back to watch you guys' video too. But that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to keep my videos down to 1 hour. And thank you so much. The support is so appreciated. But pretty soon, like y'all gonna see, I'm kind of wild. I'm a retired Navy person, so I'm a sailor. Got a lot of salt on me. So, all right. But I'm gonna sign off. Thank you again for coming through and showing love. All right. Bye bye.